Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Really, really appreciate you guys. And, well, guys, you know what I mean. Ladies and gentlemen. So, thank you for joining us. Really do appreciate you. Okay, I'm going to bring on our first set of guest baristas. I'm going to invite, hi Mel, I'm going to invite Ayo and Tobi to see. Tobi, let's see. Tobi, where are you? Hi, Ayo.
Hi.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
No. Oh, do you know what? I just realized. Okay, it's me. My hands-free is on. Let me see if it does that.
Okay. Hi, Toby.
Hi, Ayo.
That's fine.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks.
Good.
Lovely. Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Don't
Okay,
get us, please.
amazing.
It was my phone.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Better. I was like, oh my God, I can't hear you. What's going to happen? Right.
Oh,
Thank you, Tobi and Ayo. Thank you so
It's
much.
just me who is a bit nervous. I'm not
Sorry,
sure why.
you're a bit nervous.
I'm not sure why, but I'm not
You'll
sure.
be fine, Tobi. Oh my goodness. Listen, folks, can you show him some love, send some hugs to
hot.
him and Ayo? Yes, let them know that there's no reason to be nervous.
Thank you.
This is family.
Everyone. Hi, guys.
Hi, everyone.
You are amongst family. No need. I need to see more hugs and love for them so that they can relax, you know. Yeah, and I'm sending
Thanks,
you
guys.
virtual hugs.
Tubo.
Your friend is here. Your brother is here. So,
Love you.
Ayo, your brother is here too. So
Yes.
no need, just chill. Thank you.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, our first set of guest baristas up today is Ayo Awotona and Tobi Oluseye. And I'm going to get them to introduce themselves just briefly, just tell us a little bit about themselves for those who don't know them. I know they have some of their friends here, but other people don't know them. So, ladies first, Ayo, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Ayo Awotona. I am a lead facilitator. I am a director of an organization. And essentially what we do is we go into schools and we basically deliver programs, workshops to bridge the gap between low self-esteem and positive self-worth. We are spreading the joy all over the world. That's what I do in terms of who I am. I'm a light, I am an encourager, and I am a child of God. That's me.
Thank you, child of God. Tobi, I hope you're a child of God too.
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Okay,
on,
great. Hi, everyone. My name is Tobi. I'm a disciple.
Come on.
So I love to do what Jesus does, pretty much. But on a day-to-day, I'm a creative director. I work at a publishing firm, and essentially what we do is we tell African stories the way they should be told. So I'm a storyteller as well. God has called me to be a storyteller. And so that's something I'm really passionate about, storytelling in different forms. I write poetry. I've got a book out. I'm a recording artist as well. I've got music on
Hey.
all like streaming
Hey.
platforms. Yeah, I'm a friend, worship leader as well. I function in that capacity at my church. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
This bio is 30. I like it. 30.
Thanks, Ayo.
Oh, thank you so much, both of you. Thank you. Right, before we start, I need to apologize on behalf of your parents, adults, guardians, and I'm sure you're wondering, why am I apologizing? I'll tell you why I'm apologizing. So the topic is conversations on dating. But we know that a lot of us parents, we hardly have conversations with our kids about dating. We don't even talk about it. We just assume that, hey, you guys will know what to do. First they always tell you, don't date. Don't,
That's the one. That's the one.
don't date. Don't even have a boyfriend. What is boyfriend, girlfriend? Don't even go down that road. We say that. And then when we start to see that, these people are, we see one girl with Tobi or one boy with Ayo, like, what are you doing with that boy? But then when they now start to cross over 25, once you bring a boy home, once you bring a girl home, once you get married, you know. So please, I apologize on behalf of all the parents.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Please forgive us.
We appreciate.
Thank you.
We accept the apology, Auntie.
Yes, we do. We do.
Thank you. But seriously, yes, someone said, if you talk to any man, you get pregnant. Yes.
Yes.
Or if you sit on a man's lap, you get pregnant. I know someone whose mother told her, if you sit on a man's lap, you get pregnant. And she went out and they, you know, I think it was a party, and she sat on someone's lap. And for 3 months, she refused to talk to her mother because she thought she was pregnant.
Wow.
When we don't have proper conversations and tell them what to do or what not to do.
Wow.
But seriously, you guys, what was it like for you in terms of dating? How did you even navigate that whole thing when you started dating? Just talk to us about it. How did you start dating properly? Maybe I'm just making assumptions that your parents didn't. But so tell us, lady, let's start with the lady, Ayo.
Okay. So Ayo is going to just be very transparent and honest on this. I feel like God has just called me to just be bold. So I'm just going to say it as it is. So the question is, how did I navigate dating? Okay, so I had conversations with my parents briefly, but I guess to give you bigger context, let me go to secondary school. So I was born in this country in the United Kingdom. And then when it was time for year 7, 11 years old, my parents were like, okay, cool, we want you to go to secondary school in Nigeria. And it was a private boarding school, one of the best schools in Nigeria. Now, the transition from going to the UK, English customs, all I knew, to going to Nigeria was very, very challenging for me. So I found that when I was in secondary school, like I stood out because I have a British accent, right? And I started to notice that, hold on a second, I have an advantage here because I'm noticing that our boys, these boys, they're looking at me a bit like, you're looking nice. I said, okay, I have an advantage here. So what started off really innocent in terms of me just sort of, you know, speaking to guys then started to turn into like a craving, a desire to actually have male attention. And in that period, I guess because I'm in boarding school, and the reality of the situation is my parents were here in the UK, you know, I would speak to my parents almost every day, but I didn't have my dad technically like with me every day, like giving me these conversations yet. And like dating wasn't necessarily something that we spoke about whilst we were speaking on the phone. And I guess I'm just giving this context because my parents are amazing individuals, but at the time where I started desiring, you know, affection and love from boys, from guys, I didn't necessarily in that moment have those conversations with my parents. And again, they're not bad people. It's just, that was just how it happened, right? So basically from secondary school, I had just basically, you know, started craving guys' attentions. And then before you know it, I started talking to guys. And it was just something that I just had to navigate. Like it was just a thing of like, okay, cool, boy likes girl, girl likes boy, you get together, you just basically, and it just started, you know, progressing from there. And then I guess as we get more into this conversation, I'll be able to unravel more. But to answer this question in a succinct way, I just figured it out. Hey, I like you, you like me. Come, let me get your attention. You get my attention. Let's keep it pushing. Literally.
Thank you for sharing that, Ayo. Thank you. Tobi, what about you as a guy? Yes, let's hear from a guy's perspective.
Honestly, I would say a bit of the same for me, and I agree with what I share the same sentiment in terms of how my mom is, because I was raised by a single mother. My mom, these are conversations I could have had with her, but did we have them? Like I knew I could bring anything to her, but I don't know, just for some reason, it wasn't the cool thing to do. It wasn't, I think back then, you're speaking about what was going on in your heart or your mind wasn't really encouraged as opposed to what's going on now. So I never did that. But I think for me, it was just very like pressure centered and very pressure based. I remember being in year 8 and there was this girl that I liked who was in year 7. and we're not together then, but all my friends like were in relationships already, and I just kept on telling her like, "What's your problem? Like, why can't we? Like, I like you like me. We're speaking a lot. Like, why? I remember this day so well. Why are we not moving forward? Like, with the why can't you just be my girlfriend?" So it was very like, what's everyone doing?
Okay.
What's everyone doing, and how I don't want to stick out. I don't want to be the one who doesn't have a girlfriend, or I don't want to be the one who's not. All of that. So why don't I? Yeah, so just really pressure center and just defined by what my friends were doing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pressure centered. So you wanted to belong, you wanted to be part of everybody's dating. So why not me?
Absolutely. And I guess just to even add to that really quickly, it was like in secondary school, to be in a relationship, you have some sort of validation. It makes, like, I guess speaking from our experience, like we're showing,
Yes.
it's like, if you're not in a relationship, what are you really doing? Are you even a hot piece of cake? Like, are you really about it? Like, so it was almost like our validation sort of came for most people being in a relationship.
Yeah, and for a guy as well, like if you didn't have a girlfriend, it said a lot about what people thought about you as a guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Really?
So a lot of so if there was a track record of you not like getting girls from like year 7 to year 9, year 10 already, everyone just knows, okay, you're the dead guy, everyone just knows, okay, and then even what is your chances of getting anyone after, really? So you have to really work. Your track record had to have been coming correct from yourself. There has to be history of you, like, and even the way other guys would treat you or speak to you. There was it told on that, because no one wanted to be associated with the guy who couldn't get girls, or who I mean, amongst a host of other things, but that one was a thing. Like, everyone wanted to be the guy that could get any girl you wanted, or at least one.
So let me ask, if you had these conversations with your parents or someone, even if it was not your parent, maybe an adult, or had a mentor or something, do you think it would have made a lot of difference? Because you know why I asked this, especially Tobi, because you talked about the pressure. Because even if your parents could have this conversation with you, or your mom rather could have had this conversation with you at home, but you could have gotten into school and it would be like, I know what mommy said, but I want to be. Do you think it would have made a difference?
I think it would have. I think one thing, I mean, this is me speaking based on what I have now. I think one thing that helps me now that I wish I had there was the right reinforcement, and knowing that my friends, and this doesn't mean that obviously I don't still do what I want to do, but I'm aware of the support that I have. I'm aware of, so especially when I make mistakes, like I'm aware of, okay, my mom has said don't do this, my mom has said this, how you navigate, I guess, your emotions, like being a young 11, 12, 13-year-old. I do whatever, but I think the fear of not even knowing what my mom would say if she found out anything happened within the confines of my relationship made sure that I only isolated even more. So I think just even knowing that I have security in my mom, that I can, and I guess engaging with that security in that way would have made a huge difference. Would have made a huge difference for me, like just knowing that the support was there. Doesn't mean I would have, done everything she said, but
but at least knowing that, What about you, Ayo?
I don't know how much of a difference it would have necessarily made from my parents. And I think this is just sometimes human nature. Sometimes when people are so close to you, whether it be family members or just sometimes we can take them for granted, and sometimes unintentionally feel like, oh, they don't know what it's like to be in my situation. So I think maybe if it had been like from a family friend or an auntie, for example, or maybe an older sibling or an older cousin, just explaining, not don't have sex, not don't be in a relationship, but just walking by me and basically talking to me about some of the long-term implications, for example, and not don't do this, but explain the why. Like, I remember you said this once on one of your lives, that us young people, that we want to know why. And I think for a long time by our parents unintentionally was like, don't do this, but there was no understanding with it. But now we're reading books about, understand your why, because it's your why, your how, your what, and then your how. So it's just, I feel like having someone what would have made the difference is having someone, it could have been my parents, I don't know, I mean, I'm not there yet, I've gone past them, but it could have been my parents, or just someone like a loving figure or something guiding me and explaining to me the foundation or some of the after effects of what could happen, I would say.
You know, as you mentioned foundation, I just thought dating cost foundation 101.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's
Tobi,
do it.
were you going to say something, Tobi?
No, I agree. I agree with just having someone there, like an older sibling.
Yeah.
Because your experience will always be different.
Yeah.
It will never be the same what your parents have had. But you just need someone literally you can speak to in real time, updating them.
Yeah.
And then just giving you like a third person's narrative or perspective of what they can see, and just saying this is the truth. Your emotions might be clouding your judgment now, but this is the truth, and this is what we see now. And so I've got, it's up to you to now do what you want to do with that. But we didn't. I never even had that in the first place. Like, I remember the first time I knew that I liked someone, the girl I was speaking about being when I was in year 8. It was so surprising. It was a lot. It was actually a lot. It was intense, and I didn't know what to do with it at the time. But I imagine if I had someone who, first of all, would not have laughed at me or would not have shouted at me, would have just said, okay, calm down. This is normal, like, for,
What you said is so true, because I'm just thinking, as you're growing up, you have feelings for a girl or a boy, but then you don't know, what do I do with this feeling?
Yep.
And the other thing I was thinking this morning was, okay, even in terms of dating, how do you know what to do?
Yeah.
You know what? Where did you guys get? Was it from your friends? Do you talk to your friends about, oh, this is what you do with a girl, this is what you do with a boy? Or was it from watching movies? Where did you guys get? Yes,
So is it okay, just before we move on to discussion, I just really wanted to encourage parents, because I understand that some parents watching this and listening to this right now, you may have kids who are where we once were in secondary school, right? But one thing I want to say is that sometimes as children, we love you as our parents, but sometimes we don't know how to communicate with you. So if you're thinking, oh, my kids aren't listening to me, I promise you, because I'm saying this, I have a mentor, she said to me, Ayo, my daughter isn't listening to me, she's not doing this, blah, blah, blah. And I said, Mrs. So-and-so, you've been such a blessing to me. Continue to be a blessing to me and other people all over the world. And I promise you, the seeds you're sowing into me that maybe my mum can't directly sow to me, there are going to be other mentors that are going to sow into your kids. So I just want to encourage every single parent listening on this. If your child isn't listening to you right now, it's okay. We go through loads of emotions, and sometimes we don't know how to communicate that with you, but be a blessing to someone else's child. And I promise you, like, faith in God as well, like you're sowing seeds basically. So I just really wanted to say that to encourage the parents listening.
I agree with you. I actually agree with you, because there's some stuff that your kids won't even be able to tell you. But if they have all this big brothers, so to speak, or older
or an uncle,
yes, that you can speak to, they'll just make sure that they have someone in their life that they can speak to. It's so important. It's so important. Okay, so now answer the question.
Okay, could you please remind me what the question was again, about how we navigate?
So I said that I was thinking this morning that when you guys even started dating, so how did you know what to do? Was it from watching Hollywood movies or Nollywood? Or was it from your friends? Or how did you know what to do?
Honestly, what determined what I did was society and culture. So for example, I went to secondary school in Nigeria. I was in boarding school. I would only go home for half term and and holidays, right? And in school, we watched TV, but only on like the weekends, for example. So for me personally, I didn't watch TV every day, and we weren't allowed our phones in school at the time, and we weren't allowed on the internet. Facebook was a dream. Like, you'd be lining up to go to the computer room to go on Facebook to like message your friends. So I won't say for me it was media at the time, although when I was on half term and stuff, there was media, but it was just society around you. Like, what are people doing? So when I was in year 7, we would wear like what we would call pinafores, so like dresses. But when we got a bit older, we got to wear skirts. when I started to see people around me and sort of the attention that other people were getting, like maybe people who had nice bums, and I was realizing that maybe their skirts were a bit short. Me too, I lifted up my skirt because I said, me too, I want boys' attention. When I noticed that, okay, cool, when I got to the senior years, year 10, 11, and I could wear a skirt, my skirt, when I went to the tailor to sew that skirt,
short.
listen, it was not only that the tightness, I said, these people are going to see my figure in this skirt, because that's what I was seeing around me. And then and then it was sort of like, now I'm thinking about this trial and error. Okay, cool. When I wear this, I get attention. Okay, tick box, you know, okay, these people are doing these people are swearing, and this is happening. And it was just, everything was just formed by society. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, my parents are there and they're instilling good morals in me. I mean, we're very cultured, you know. When I see an adult, I'll kunle, I'll dobale, like, you know, I'm very well mannered. But if we're thinking about the ratio, my society and my parents on the phone from England when I'm in Nigeria, and then sometimes it was just an imbalance. I'm with, you know, in school 80% of the time in comparison. So that was what formed me and dating and conversations with people and what I deemed to be cool and accepted by other people.
It's amazing. I guess as parents, we really underestimate the impact that society has on our children. We really do underestimate. Okay, Toby, tell us your bit.
Yeah, I'd say just obviously pressure, as I initially had said. Like, we created our own culture, we fueled the culture, and we ensured that it was thriving. And so a lot of the intense, I guess, feelings, or at this point now, is beyond even like, you know, I guess, emotions. There's now sexual attraction as well. And so a lot of that is just, there's a direct channel between how your heart felt and how your body wanted to feel, and the you know, and the sexual release, or the sexual what's the word? So it was just a direct channel. So if you felt this way, it had to be expressed that way. And so a lot of that was going on, you know. Everyone just knew, for example, would always go to Silverbird on Saturdays. Everyone knew what he was going to do there, you know, because everyone knew what it was for. No one was going to really watch a movie like that. You knew what.
Can you please tell everyone what Silverbird is, because not everybody knows the Silverbird settings. You have to paint a picture, please.
Silverbird is obviously like a regular cinema hall. Everywhere is dark. So Silverbird had other things going on, but you're going for the cinema. You wanted the dark. You know, you wanted the dark, cozy. You know.
The only one on Lagos Island.
The only one, you wanted to be dark and cozy, have your fun and all of that. And what I find really interesting about that is, growing up now, realizing how private sex is. It's crazy to me that it was something to be proud of or about. Be able to say, I went to Silver, when, you know, this is what people, your friends will literally be telling you details of this happening. And we're okay, what floor are you guys going to be on? You know, obviously, what part of the, what level in the theater room are you going to be on? In top, middle, bottom. Everyone knew that on top, no one will see you there, so everyone's rushing to the top one. All of that, like a lot that was going on, and so emotions meant there needed to be sexual pleasure a lot. I remember the girl who we eventually started dating, but then she wouldn't kiss me, and I was like, what's wrong? Like, I don't get why you don't kiss me, because everybody in school is kissing. Like, okay, I'm not saying let's progress now. We'll kiss first of all, then we'll do this and do that. But, you know, it wasn't happening. So it was just very, with not knowing what to do with my emotions, everything just, it was a direct channel to everything that was sexual. So, yeah.
You know, the more I listen to you guys, the more I just think, oh my God, what did we do? Or not do, rather. Because it's this kind of conversations we should have had with you guys, seriously. And you know, you said something, again, we don't even talk about it. We say don't have sex. Well, we don't talk about, you said something about sex being private.
Yes.
We don't even talk about that. Oh my
God. Yeah.
See, it's fine.
I feel bad. I feel so bad.
No, you should not. Because trust me, no, you shouldn't. Because as Ayo said, like, the honest truth is, children will be children. Children will do the things children want to do. The idea is just that in whatever stage they're in, they're getting the right counsel. They know what the truth is, and that the truth will set the standard for them. Like, they will actually be convicted in their own hearts, you know, of their own accord, and that's actually what you want as
Yep.
opposed to, you know, them follow you word for word or detail
Yeah.
for detail.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
Children will be children, but you see, I guess even if the parents have, if we parents have had that conversation at the back of your mind, you know that this thing is not right, or I should wait a bit, or have a conversation with someone, or find someone, because we make assumptions that parents will know, or rather that the children will know. I I remember someone who, when she eventually, I mean, she was even, I think both of them, the couple, they were virgins until they got married. But their wedding night, they actually had to call the pastor to find out what to do, because they didn't know what to do. You know, that's how bad it is. Well, okay, they went through marriage counseling, but still nobody told them what to do. We always just assume that.
Assume that people know.
Yes, people know. And I mean, Tuba is one person that's always saying to me, when I tell him, do this, and you say, Mommy, but you never taught me. So I have to apologize and say, I'm so sorry. We never, it's mad. It is mad.
Like speaking Yoruba as well. That's another one.
Oh, yeah. You don't speak Yoruba to them, but then you expect them to. Wow. Okay. So anything else? What would you? Let me ask you guys this question. I'll bring Lanre and Bunmi on shortly, and then bring you guys back later. What would you want us? Imagine. I mean, you guys are. How old are you?
I'm 25.
25. Ayo, yeah.
28.
28. So I mean, really, you're both old enough to get married.
Yeah.
So what would you do differently if you're parents? Or what would you also say to parents to do, especially those who have younger children now? What would you say?
Okay, Ayo, do you want to
go? Thank you. I would definitely say there's twofold. What I would say to parents is, first and foremost, I think it's really important as parents to be rooted in your own identity in Christ, because a lot of the things that as believers, we need to understand that as parents are caretakers for children here on earth. That's the first thing. Second of all, as parents, as children, we listen to what you do more than what you say.
Yeah.
Right? That's that. So it's understanding your identity in Christ. And it's for all of us, but I guess I'm directing it to parents here. Yeah. Understanding your identity in Christ, because that is God is going to give you peace that surpasses all understanding, even if we are going AWOL and we're doing, you know, what we're doing. That's the first part. Second part is that, you know, we listen more to what you do more than what you say. And then the third thing I would just finish on that with, in terms of what I would say to parents, is that I know it's uncomfortable having these conversations with your children, but if you aren't necessarily genuinely having these uncomfortable conversations, and in those uncomfortable conversations, it's not I'm your parent, you listen to me. Yeah. Give us the space to also try and attempt to speak to you, because we're going through a lot of pressure outside. So it's like, I know it's uncomfortable, but then I guess that's why I started with the identity in Christ, because God will give you the wisdom to have those uncomfortable situations, because more time we want to confide in you as our parents. But then if there's not that safe space, and this is something that Pastor Agu says all the time, there might be that safe space financially, there might be that safe space in terms of, man, I can go into the fridge, this is my parents' house, I can take what I want. But emotional well-being for us young people, that is so high on the list, and I don't know that a lot of, you know, our parents really realize the depths of that, especially in the world we're living in today. Things are changing so much. People are free to call themselves whatever they want, identity, gender, blah blah blah. There's so much, and I'm not hating against any of that, but I'm just saying that there's so much tugging at us. So there's the identity in Christ, there's the understanding that we're your caretakers, and God, ultimately we are God's children, and then there's the getting comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations with us, because our emotional well-being, there is a lot fighting for it right now.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Ayo. I'll just I really like what Ayo said about having the awkward conversation. I think a lot of our parents, just people in general, honestly, run away from it.
Of course.
But they need to be had. They really need to be had. And I think parents also, I always say to my mom, sometimes when we're like, when we're not agreeing, I'm like, Mom, you need to realize that I am an entirely different human. I literally have my own. I'm a whole human being outside of you. Like, I'm not an extension of you. Like, I don't even know what you're feeling. You don't know what I'm feeling. I'm a whole human being. And so parents, first of all, as Ayo said, being comfortable in their identity, and also being comfortable in knowing that their children will also form identities that most likely will differ from who they are and the things that they believe in. Like, I know my cousin always says to one of my aunties, say, don't say that this should not be done. Saying, I would not do it this way because this is me. But it's not black or white. Like, who says I need to wear this or do that this way? So there's that. Just, I wouldn't do this if and I would advise you not to do it if, because these are the things that I've seen based on experience, but you are willing, to explore, but these are I'll present to you the pros and cons. Like I say, well, I've tried this your way before, so this is what happened. But I guess, we're just allowing children also have their identities formed. I also mentioned about just a safe space emotionally is always great. Is always great. And one more thing for me is, actually two more things. Notice the differences in your children. Especially their transition ages. Notice, be on the lookout for them, because they will happen. When they're a lot more aware, they will happen. And bring it up before they go out there and the world has already placed its own filter of what it is. So you want their foundation for whatever it is to be from you in a trusted space. So each time they will always run back to you, that trusted space. That's how you build the trust. Bringing it up first of all. But if they've stewed for a while with it, if their friends have spoken over it, they see things a different way, then it becomes even harder to shake certain things off. Like, I know that there are things even till today that I've relearned, but it's almost like I need to relearn over and over every day, just for the assurance. And I think I don't know if this is the same for parents all over the world, but with African parents, like, I grew up, I pay attention to, like, reactions. I'm very, like, sometimes, maybe overboard, God is helping me with that, but I'm super observant about certain things. And I find that parents don't know that we watch you a lot more than we listen to you. And so your reactions really matter. They really matter. And, reactions even to things to be shouting or your facial, they speak a lot more than, like writing down a rule of law and saying, do this or do this. So, you don't want your child to be telling you something that is bizarre to you. And you're like, already they are going to be very defensive. I know I said one more thing as well. For parents to also, I don't know, I mean, I don't necessarily, it's in my, okay, this is not an extremity, but I find that parents also need to share with us how they've also been through this, this stage in life. Because I'm like, I'm like, at this age, I'm like, I'm so sure my mom went through or my dad went through all of these things. But growing up, they're acting like, this was all brand new. I'm like, no, like, let me know that you went through it as well. Like, I need to know. It reassures me that I'm not, I haven't lost it, because a lot of us grew up thinking it's me against the world. It's me against this thing. It's me against that thing. But we don't realize that we actually need a lot of support. Like, let's say, like, I liked two girls at a time. I didn't know what to do. This happened. That happened. I made this mistake. Like, this happened. Like, let me, like, even obviously I can't speak for women, but even what I was speaking about, a lot of women can't say, oh, I was at the stage where I craved a lot of male attention. Like, a lot of girls, and there's nothing, it doesn't make you a terrible person. But in high school, people call you all sorts of names. They say, this girl is this, this girl is that, she's this. And, but your mom, obviously, I don't know who, but you haven't been told that, okay, this is what you're feeling, but this is how you can do it. It doesn't mean this is your identity.
Absolutely.
So.
Oh my God. And please, can I just say two more things? Because Tobi, you were just dropping those gems. Like, based on what you just said, two other things I want to say is, in terms of parents, number one, where possible, and again, please, we love you parents, we just want you to understand, this is not a bashing session in any way, shape or form. Like, we love you very, very much. Exactly, and we're grateful. One of the things, first thing was in terms of letting go of control, because sometimes that passion can turn into control, and then it can then cause us to actually go in the opposite direction because there's that control and like, no, you must do this. And then the second thing is also for a lot of our parents, maybe they actually had sex before they got married and they had us out of wedlock. So maybe they're telling us not to have sex because we did it the wrong way. But what would be really amazing is if you explained that to us and you said, okay, cool, I did wrong here, or not even necessarily wrong, because I guess they see it as wrong because, you know, there's that guilt, there's that condemnation, right? I did wrong here, and this is why I'm telling you not to have sex. And I feel like sometimes, and this is triggered off what Toby said about, you know, as though everything was all cushy, that when I was your age, or I did this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, but did you really though? And again, this is not a rude thing or anything, but it's just like, can we go into that nitty gritty, you know, just so that I can understand? And actually vulnerability is so powerful. And I think this is only a new revolution that we're understanding in our day and age. It's like vulnerability, me care, be weak to my kids care. I know, I'm the, you know, but really we're realizing that vulnerability is power, because there's some stuff that I know about my mum that I'm like, I respect you so much more. Like when my mum had 3 little kids, she was studying, she was waking up at 6 a.m. in the morning. I respect you. Mum, listen, I respect you. I have a newfound compassion for you. So when she's telling me now she doesn't want to cook, she's tired, okay, let me go into the kitchen and cook. I don't cook it all the time, please. No, I don't. But I'm just saying that in terms of, because she shared that period of her life with me, I have more compassion and understanding. Can we do that same thing with sex and relationships, please? Even if it hasn't been the greatest thing. And can we share what you've learned and how you can teach us what you've learned and the lessons and the advantages and stuff? So yeah, that's I'd say.
Thanks. Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
I just wanted to say one more thing.
One more thing.
I think one thing that will also be great is really establishing a truth-based, I guess, standard of what is right and what is wrong, as opposed to it being guilt or punishment, or you know, just fear, really.
That's
There's
good.
just so much fear that I'm not doing this because I'm doing this, or I'm not doing this not because I even understand what it is about, because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want, you know, I don't want to get in trouble. And what will happen is when you go to the outside world, you and when sorry guys, so but yeah, you know, when I lost my train of thought. Yeah, but when you're really faced with the real world, and fear no longer can hold it, because fear will always dwindle. Fear, you know, only the truth will actually remain. It's actually the truth that will see you through into your adult years. Fear, guilt, all of these things, they're temporary, so you won't do it temporarily, but the values haven't been instilled in you. But when it's truth-based, when it's when it's truth-based, when it's also shared in a vulnerable space, you know, you are aware of the truth that your parents are also not robots, are just trying to control you, but based on experience and based on also, I guess, being led by the Holy Spirit. I think one thing I always say to God is, with my kids, everything, you know how we literally were able to say, oh, the Holy Spirit instructed me to do it. I literally want that with my children. I don't want to have any preconceived. I don't want that. So yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Now it's going to get more interesting. We now have Uncle Lanre.
Mr. Lanre.